Hazardous communications is a top 10 OSHA most cited violation. Your employees depend on you to provide the safest workplace possible. Injuries will occur that could have been prevented. Give your employees the skills and knowledge they need to protect themselves. Welcome to Hazardous Communications for Managers and Supervisors.
Managers and supervisors covered by OSHA's HazCom standard need to know the requirements that addresses chemical hazards and communicating those hazards to those most affected. Hi, my name is Mark Medley, and on this edition of our Safety Compliance series, we'll discuss what managers and supervisors need to know about OSHA's HazCom standard. The OSHA HazCom standard 1910-1200, also referred to as the Globally Harmonized System, is the OSHA standard that addresses chemical hazards, both those chemicals produced in the workplace and those imported into the workplace, and it governs the communication of those hazards to workers. In fiscal year 2016, OSHA found the HazCom standard as the second most cited violation and the second most serious violation. In December 2016, OSHA cited the Monroe Clinic Incorporated, a medical clinic in Monroe, Wisconsin, when workers were exposed to asbestos hazards, and the company knew of the asbestos-containing material since 2008. OSHA proposed $261,000 in penalties after federal investigators found the medical clinic failed to tell maintenance workers they were being exposed to hazardous asbestos material, which the company had previously identified, and did not provide workers with protective equipment. Investigators found maintenance employees had disturbed asbestos while conducting maintenance tasks, repairs, and installation and removal of materials as they worked on a boiler and in crawl spaces, near ceiling tiles, and in other areas where asbestos-containing materials had been previously identified. Asbestos exposures occur when workers cut, damage, or otherwise disturb asbestos fibers that can be inhaled without proper protection. Asbestos can cause lung disease, a cancer of the lining and the lung or stomach that is nearly almost always fatal. OSHA's citations included 1 willful and 11 serious health and safety violations after its June inspection of the facility. In its citation, OSHA alleges the Monroe Clinic failed to post signage on the boiler room and in other locations warning of the known asbestos-containing material and informing workers of those locations and the use of hazardous chemicals in their facility. Ann Gravenkamp, OSHA's area director in Madison, said, Monroe Clinic knew its employees were working amid materials known to contain asbestos and failed to inform them of the location of hazards to protect them from the exposure to a known carcinogen that can cause lifelong health issues and possibly death. It's imperative that employers take all known precautions to protect workers from potential exposure to any materials that may contain asbestos. OSHA's indicated industry-wide in fiscal year 2016, the top 5 HazCom sections cited were 1910-1200E1, the implementation of a HazCom program; 1910-1200H1, HazCom training required; 1910-1200G8, the requirement to maintain safety data sheets; 1910-1200G1, the requirement to develop safety data sheets; and 1910-1200H3IV, failure to provide an explanation of labels received on shipping containers and how employees obtain and use appropriate hazard information. HazCom is an integral part of any safety and health program. As statistics can demonstrate, it's also one aspect of safety that's too often violated. The OSHA HazCom standard provides some specific requirements for an employee's right to know about chemical hazards in the workplace. But whether or not there are specifics in the standards, simply keep in mind that if there are regulated chemicals that can affect your employee's safety, then the hazards associated with those chemicals must be communicated to those most affected.
2 workers were overcome by chemicals at Vivid Image.
Houston, Texas is back to normal tonight after a leak at a chemical plant this weekend left 4 workers dead.
Hey Dave, this is a look at the accident that has I-24 in an absolute standstill in Rutherford County. You can see the smoke come.
A wide variety of chemicals in the workplace can present hazards. Clearly, any of these hazards present a danger to employees and must be controlled, but most importantly, communicated to employees for their own protection. Give your employees the skills, knowledge, and abilities they need in order to protect themselves. Next in this series, we'll explain the details of the HazCom standard and will help promote best industry practices that tend to protect employee safety.
This has been a Rocket M production.